What is up, everybody? It's Matt Johnson. We are back with another episode of Real Estate Uncensored. This is the place where you get actionable ideas, insight, and inspiration to turn your real estate career into a life of freedom. We've got the Junior Grandmaster himself here with us. We've got Glenn that's joining us a little late today, our co-speaker for tomorrow at the Real Estate Renegades event in LA. So if you're watching or listening to this after the fact, we're very sorry for you because you probably missed the event. But if not, thank you for coming because this is we're super, super excited about it. It's tomorrow. It's 100% free. So if you are anywhere within shouting distance of LA, please join us. Greg, I know you're going to put the link to the event and the registration stuff here in the Facebook comments because I'm telling you to do it right now. But in the meantime,
I was already doing it, Dick. I was doing it fine. I was already in the middle of doing it, jackass. But dude, I'm doing great, man. You and I, we had our Get Now business class today, and then we coached the PSL girls. And dude, a couple of the guys from the Get Now business, they reached out to me and they took one of the items that we taught them today about a negotiating tactic that is incredibly effective. And one of our guys went and put it into action and actually got a response. He was actually able to get a big price reduction from a hard seller just by using this one tactic. So if you guys aren't doing anything with Get Now business, you guys got to come hang out with us. Matt and I do a lot of role play. We're changing it up a little bit. We're not going to be having you guys interact together so much. We're going to be doing it together so that you guys can see the tonality and the structure and everything, so that if you guys are interested in learning how to this but you're a little embarrassed, you're not going to have to do that anymore. So get your BTSs over and come hang out with us. Damn.
Yeah. Speaking of which, actually, I just revised the landing page and stuff. So if you guys want to sign up and you want to get in on it, we're holding a special session later this week to get everyone caught up on the first session, and then you can join us for the remaining Mondays of June and get caught up and get into that class still. So go to getnowbusiness.com. But let's jump in with a question here real quick because it's right in your wheelhouse, Greg. I wanted to cover this real quick before we got into anything else, and then we have Glenn coming on with us here in about 10, 15 minutes. Mike Holbrook says, Matt is watching. I better behave. No, who cares?
No, fuck that.
Nah. So Steve Wisniewski says, for all those that circle prospect, where did you get your follow-up system? And as to how many contacts per day to how many times to contact a lead per week. So let's cover that real quick while Glenn is joining up with us.
So what's the question is how many times the follow-up?
Number one follow-up system, Greg, for circle prospecting.
Let's call the phone. Number one, the way to follow up with someone is, guys, pick up the phone and call them, or do a pop-by, just drop by and say hi to them. How are you? What's going on? Sorry I haven't been here. Sorry I haven't followed up more often. That is the number one way of going about it. I'm a big, huge proponent of the fact of actually going and just literally taking this thing. It's called a telephone. Putting it, placing it to your face and making phone calls to your follow-ups. Like I have this right here, Matt. I got my fat ass stack of leads that I'm following up on. Plus, I'm using a great system in Top Producer. Top Producer. Let me show you guys this really quickly and why I like this so much. Oops, there it is. Okay, I'm going to share my screen quickly. How the hell? Oh, share screen. Begin sharing, share. So guys, here on my home screen here, this is the follow-up coach right here for following up. This thing will give me 5 people, then I can go refresh my list like this. I can get another 5 people with all the information when I followed up with them. Obviously, you can say that I epically suck on these people. 4 years, 2 years, 19 days, 4 years, never contacted. Horrible example of good following up. But you guys now can see a really good, easy way to follow up with people and make yourself relevant to them. Every time that I've had an opportunity to follow up with people using this program, I've been hesitant about actually going in there and doing the follow-ups, but a really good opportunity because people they aren't mad. They're like, hey, how are you? What's going on? How's life? I talked to another a lead that I talked to in 2013. My lender and I have been following up with them continuously and religiously. She actually literally broke her back, so she's been bedridden. Snap, bad day. But they need to sell one of their properties, and because of the follow-up system in Top Producer, it has been very easy for me to track the notes, put everything in there. But just get on the phone, go do a pop-by, do something in a proactive, personal way. Even though, yes, it sucks. Yes, I get it. You feel bad that you feel that they aren't going to want to see you. They do. They really, really do. Unless they tell you to go fuck off or take a long walk off a short pier, then, just keep following up.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you cap it at a certain number of times per week that you would reach out to somebody?
Maybe, maybe three
Well,
times a
let's
week.
qualify it and say, like, yeah, circle prospecting. So let's say you're trying to get a hold of somebody that is not in your personal network. You're dropping messages every time because that happens automatically with the dialer. So you're saying like 3 times a week for that type of person.
Yeah, I would do 3 times a weekend with Top Producer. I mean, not Top Producer, Mojo. Mojo links directly into Top Producer now, so that you take your lead, it's warm, hot, follow up, whatever it's getting, set an appointment. You can take it and port it directly over into Top Producer. Then you assign your lead there. But in Mojo, you can go back and call through all these warm leads, hot leads, whatever you classify them as many times as you want. So on that system, I would probably go to a single line, not a triple line on that, so you can go slow and methodical through them and make sure you have the notes and everything else on them. But that'd be very easy to do.
Makes sense. Okay. I know Glenn is hopping on and getting ready here to join us. This is our fellow speaker and special guest from far, far away. Glenn, what's up?
Hey man, now give me a scale of 1 to 10, video and audio. Is this working?
Actually surprisingly good.
It really is good.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Man on the move over there.
I can chill a little bit then. My God, it's been crazy. So I'm in my room. Look at this. This is the greatest suite in. Look at this. This thing's giant. There's beautiful women in it. And this is the greatest suite in LA that they've given me here at the Sheraton Cerritos.
Oh, that's funny. And it's got women in it and everything.
It's got women, and they're beautiful. Only one of which is my age and appropriate to be saying that about. But anyway, what are you going to do?
Glad to qualify that.
Oh, that's funny. All right. So let's take a question here real quick. This is something that Glenn, you might have some perspective on it. That's more of my perspective, which is to prevent this type of question from coming up. But you'll know what I mean when I present it to you. So,
how do you make
Carrie
cold
Fisher
calls?
Says, yes. What's your best objection handler for we're planning on using a flat fee realtor? So Greg, let's start with you. And what's the sales situation like objection handler approach to taking that question on?
I ask them why what they're looking for, what their quality of agent that they're looking for, what their expectations are, and then I explain to them a little bit about a flat fee brokerage. How a flat fee means flat fee, which means there's no bells and whistles, nothing additional. They're going to get on top of it, and then I drill down and I try to understand why they're going for a flat fee. Is it just because they're cheap ass, broke ass, cheap people, or are they like that? Or is it they just can't afford a broker? They have no equity in the house, right? So if they have no equity in the house, then I would probably advise them, if it wasn't an absolute must sell, stay in the house, build the equity, then get the proper representation when the time is right for them to sell. If it is they absolutely have to sell, great, I'll recommend you to a flat fee broker and I'll let you go on your way. I mean, there's 2 ways around that, and that's just the 2 that I would recommend. I'm here. I want to hear what Glenn has to say on that.
I know, me too, because I have a feeling it's going to be leaned more towards the I help people not ever get that question ever.
Very much so, mate. But if you're going to get it, it's inevitable, especially in the early transition, while you're turning yourself from a agent who is currently doing it the way every other agent does, and while you're turning yourself into the rock star, Josh Altman, Greg McDaniel, legend. Like we had some time with Brian this morning. Man, that guy's a beast, So while you're in that transition period, you're going to get it. And that's okay, because you do need to we can't just say, well, you'll never get it. Well, you're going to get it. So it's okay to be prepared. So now I need to preface this by not knowing some of the legislative requirements and things. You might have to change the names. But here would be my thing. First, I would ascertain whether they definitely want me. So I would say, let's role play with Matt for a minute. So Matt, you've just hit me with the flat fee thing. I'd say, so Matt, if we were the same dollars, though, you have made up your mind that I'm kind of the preference. If money was the same, it'd be me, yeah?
Of course, Glenn, if money was the same, well, of course. I mean, you're definitely my guy.
Cool, mate. Well, I tell you what, so here's the thing, mate. I want to work with you. You want to work with me, so I'll match them. Fair enough? We're good to go? If I take that out, I've now taken that off your shoulder, we're good to go, yeah? I'll match the flat fee.
Yeah,
cool?
absolutely. Sure.
All right, so Matt, done. All I'm asking from you then, in return from that, is the opportunity for me to earn my full fee. So what I'm saying is, Matt, if at the end of all this craziness, you don't believe that I have more than covered, see the differential between that flat fee I'm agreeing to of $6,000 and my full fee of 15, we're talking about $9,000 here. So if at the end of all this, Matt, you don't agree, and there is one person who gets a vote on that, and that's Matt Johnson. If you don't agree that I have earned my $9,000, then fine, we're done at 6. What my job is for the next month and a half is for me to get you a price that more than covers my own extra $9,000, service that you would feel embarrassed to not be helping me out with that. But mate, if I let you down, I'm putting my money where my mouth is, mate. What I'm saying is the reason I'm a full free broker is I'm earning full fee. And if I fail to do so, mate, and you're the only one that gets a vote on this, you pay me the other guy's rate. No problem, mate, because I'm here to help you. I'm not here to line my own pocket. If I haven't earned you an extra 20 grand, then I don't deserve the extra 9. I mean, that's fair enough, isn't it?
Yeah, sounds fair to me.
I want to list with you, Glenn.
Yeah, I was going to say, Greg's putting his condo up for sale right now. All right, so Greg, what are your thoughts on that script? And would you, because essentially you're saying, you are cutting your commission in a form, but at least you're giving yourself a chance to then earn it.
Well, what I say is I get it written. And now, okay, let me just quickly read. So, Matt, what I need, though, is, Matt, I need you to write on the paperwork here, and I'm going to put in this little caveat that we've got here, but I need to have on my paperwork here, because I work with all of these other agents in my office, right? They're all looking at your property. And if they see that your one property is at a third of the commission that all the others are, it'll be the last one they bring their best, hottest, and most cashed up buyers to. So what the paperwork here needs to reflect is, if we get you the price you're after, if we get you the price you're after and all of that, then the other brokers that I work with, they still get their full fee. But again, remembering, make sure you put that price, the price that you would be put the $9,000 on your price that you'd be happy with, so that I can incentivize my other brokers and my other agents that I work with to bring their best buyers to you. I mean, again, all I'm asking is that we allow me and the team I work with the best incentive to work hardest for you. But at the end of the day, as I said, Matt, you get the vote, that if we let you down, mate, we don't get paid. Cool? That kind of thing.
So, well, there are some brokerages like in J. Rockcliffe, there are some agents that are more senior. There's some agents more junior. The more junior agents do not have as much latitude with their commission structure, what they can and cannot take. So that is something that you guys need to take a look at each one of your brokerages. I know for a fact, like a lot of the agents here at J. Rockcliffe, they cannot do 4% they have to take a 5 or above. But I mean, as long as the broker gets their money. So let's say you go and you say, okay, you figure out what that broker fee, whatever that split, that percentage is that you would pay to the broker from the full commission. You say, look, I'll take the 6, but as long as we can tack on X, Y, and Z that my brokerage will get, so that I can allow me to take only the 6 versus the 25 from the deal, and give you that, 19,000, I'm allowing me to earn it, but let my brokerage make sure they get their dollar. They get their dollar. I can help, you guys get your dollar. That could potentially be a workaround. Work with your managers, your brokers, on that side.
And I suppose that's the thing is, guys, I gave you some very specific dialogue that we use here that works, that works. Now, pull out from that the principle, so the principle is rig the game so that you always get your full fee, but use dialogue in a way that sounds like you're matching the other guy, so long as you do what you promise. You know what I mean? That's really the principle. We're not in the business of doing this money for $6,000. We don't want to sort of work around how do we get the broker their money. I want you guys to get your money, but the reason they're asking you to do it for 6 and not 26 is they think this. They think you're just opening up and doing a few open houses. You're sitting on your butt there for 2 hours reading the paper. When a buyer happens to walk in, you're being a little tour guide and showing them around saying, and look, there's the bedroom, and there's Renner, and she doesn't come with the house, and there's the bathroom, and there's the toilet. And they think you're getting paid $26,000 for being a glorified tour guide. And then when there's the contract to be done, they think that you're nothing more than an Uber driver driving the contract back and forth between buyer and seller. Shit, I don't want to pay you $26,000 for that. But if you can rig it so that you get your 26 because you're worth the 26, then and it's almost like they're embarrassed that you got them an extra $80,000 for their house, and they got a 4 times ROI on their investment. That's the case you want to portray when you're getting the listing, and then deliver when you've got the listing and you're doing the business.
Yeah, very, very much so. And it does come down to the perception, guys. People only know what you tell them. So if you don't tell them that you do all this work, they're not going to know it because they watch the HGTV shows. They see the perception of it's easy, leads to flow like honey and manna from the sky, and it's just is one and done. When in reality, we all know that all of us in the trenches, it's fucking hard. There's no easy thing about it. There's no easy deal. There's always pitfalls and issues and worries and everything else. Show them up front, like Aaron Wittenstein, the founder of LGSO. He has a 150 point listing, listing presentation, which goes over everything that he's doing, marketing plan. Go. You guys can go onto Pinterest. You guys can go onto a lot of just other websites and pick up free lists of the things that you're going to do to help market that home. Overwhelm the people from the very beginning. People always ask me, Greg, how do you close a listing appointment? I say you never close a listing appointment. You open a listing appointment with overwhelming value. They will pay you 7, 10, 15% if they perceive you valuable enough to receive that money. So if they try to cut you off at the knees, then they don't see value in you, and that's your fault from the very beginning.
Yep. Correct. I'll just add one thing, that if that once you've got that listing, now's when it's yours to lose. Like if you think that once you got the listing, we've closed the listing, that job's done. No, that's when the daily, if not twice a day, communication starts. If they're a motivated seller, they're wondering how their sale is going and what you're doing all day, every day. So if your communication schedule allows you to get in touch with them, heaven forbid, with a weekly report, that's why they're not wanting to pay you. But if they hear from you morning, noon, and night, do you think at the end of that, when they've had a full-time employee, professional, working on their property morning, noon, and night, perceivedly, because you're texting them and maybe a quick phone call, maybe two times a day, they're going to be okay with paying you a few grand a week for the month? Or, you know what I'm saying? It's all about, I love what Greg said, overwhelm them, not only at the listing presentation, but continually. Call them in the morning saying, hey, Greg, Glenn Twiddle here, mate. Big day today. I've got a few things planned for you. I've got a couple of buyers I'm going to call for you, and I'm going to change a few things on the internet because I really do need to get this thing done for you. Mate, I'll talk to you throughout the day. If not, at the end of the day, man, to let you know how things are going. Man, because I know.
There is no such thing as over-communication.
Yep. I've been a seller before, guys, and I tell you, it really opened my eyes that I've been a real estate agent, and yet I had an agent as my seller. I was wondering what she was doing, and I know what she was doing, and yet I'm still thinking about it all day, every day, because I needed to sell.
Interesting. Yeah, I've never heard anybody really point out that to really bring it home like that. And I was a big fan of scheduled weekly communication. I think that's a big deal too, is for the communication to be scheduled, for them to know exactly when they're going to hear from you. But yeah, that is one thing, that if you do a really good job of communicating with them on a daily and sometimes twice daily basis, you're not going to get anywhere near as much pushback when it comes to the price modification. You earn that by your communication, which Aaron makes a great point of that. But yeah, the more that you communicate and still have that scheduled backstop of, if you don't hear from me at here, you're definitely going to hear from me every single week at this time when we're going to talk strategy. And then in between, I'm going to tell you and I'm going to fill you in on what I'm doing for that day so that you're always in the loop. I mean, that's what will generate referrals before you've even sold their house.
Well, you could even do something maybe on, I do a scheduled email out to them on like Buffer or something like that. So you have a templated emails of what you do. You get sent an email, they get sent an email, so it feels as if you're sending something out without you actually having to do the work on it. I mean, that could be something that to save time, and then they just get the email as well. Then they can call them up, hey, did you get my email? When they didn't actually have to sit there and type it out. I would use that system because I don't want to have to sit there and type everything out. And then you can always add little, cherries on top. Like, hey, I'm going to do blah, 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 and blank. But I'm also going to be doing blah, 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 blah. Just in that little phone call that you can put out every morning or every afternoon. Like I talked to Ron, one of our sellers today, let him know that we have 4 agents that are interested in the property that we held open yesterday. We're going to be getting back to him. The agents are going to be starting submitting offers today, right now at 3 o'clock. And we're going to, after around 4, we're going to, come together and see what we have in hand and go forward from there. It's like, dude, thanks so much for keeping me in the loop. I really appreciate it. And they love the step-by-step. Like Glenn, like you were saying, people always wonder, what in the blank are you doing? I'm paying you, 2 numbers and a comma. What are you doing to earn
that? Wow. And, what's fascinating, I love what you just said. It just reminded me of something. Now, for my guys, it's often very real, because I don't know if you've seen, some of my guys are maniacs and they're like me and they're up at 3 and 4 a.m. So if you're going to use a buffer, or because I'm unfamiliar with that product, but I assume it's a way to schedule emails, sending emails at inappropriate times
Yes.
is a magnificent tactic, because your sellers go, when they get an email from you at 4:30 on the strategy for the day, when they do finally talk to you at noon or something, they go, man, I got your email at 4:30. Were you up? And you go, man, I hustle. It really shows when you can show them that you are a beast. Now, because now I've got a reputation.
Oh,
Mark,
Greg,
that
I'm going to
an
start
animal.
scheduling like Facebook messages and texts to you at 3 in the morning. Hashtag hustle. Hashtag hustle.
But you guys,
Hashtag.
like you guys remember when we first did our first ever episode of Real Estate Uncensored, it was like 3 or 4 in the morning for me, right?
Yep.
Like that impressed you guys that I was up hustling, enthusiastic at 4 in the morning. Let's take that and put it to our sellers now. It impresses people when you do something that they are unwilling to do for themselves, and they're willing to pay me for the hustle I put into my business. My students look at me like I'm something special, and we all know clearly that I'm not, because I'm willing to do it. But here's the secret. Do I do it from time to time? Yeah. Do I do it even, let's say, often? Yeah, maybe 3-4 times a week. I'm up stupid early. But here's the thing. When I sleep in till noon or whatever the hell it is, I just don't freaking tell them. And they assume that I do it every day. And so there's the trick. You do it enough that you can be perceived as, it's like, here's the metaphor. And I know I'm showing my age by this. But the Fonz in Happy Days was known as the toughest SOB in that show. And he said to Richie, did you ever see me throw a punch ever? And the answer is no, because he had the reputation of being a beast, and he never had to prove it ever again. You know?
I absolutely love that. It's all about perception.
Oh,
You built a lot of your value off the celebrity. You know, it's not, you don't have to show them every single time that you hang with celebrities. They already know it because they already see it, right? Now I look back and I see you hanging with Sly, with Arnold, you know, just kicking it, chilling, having drinks, some laughs. I don't have to be like, I wonder if he really is full of shit or if he really does hang with people. Nope, there's proof right there. In your verbiage, when they say, oh my God, were you really up at 4:30? You're like, oh man, I hustle. You never said, yes, I was up at 4:30 writing you an email. You just said, yeah, man, I hustle for you. You never lied, ever.
Yep, that's true. True. And if you're up enough at 4:30, here's the thing. Get up at 4:30 from time to time, have a leak, go to the toilet, put a Facebook post up saying we're at it, it's 4:30, look, the day, and then go back to bed. I don't know, but make it true enough that you can live with yourself when you say you're up and you're hustling and you're grinding. And I don't care if it's sometimes 4:30, it might be 12:30 at night. You know, one of my guys got a video testimonial of someone saying Michael negotiated a contract till 2 o'clock in the morning to get a contract for us, and he was always upbeat. He was phenomenal. What a great testimonial from a seller saying that Michael was up at 2 in the morning negotiating a contract, getting the deal done, getting the job done, man. Whether it's early or whether it's late. It's just going above and beyond.
Hustle and grind, hustle and grind. Speaking of hustle and grinding, you guys, right now, this very, very second, I want you guys to give us as many hearts and likes and loves and flowers and kisses and unicorns and everything else you guys can send across the screen.
Oh, I was going to say, how do I do that?
Let Facebook know that you guys like what we're putting out there, guys, because we want this to be served up to more people. Also, we want to make sure that that Glenn you all, the U.S. folks, you guys show some love to our down under brother from another mother. As he breaks into the States here. So, guys, give us some hustle, give us some grind, and give us some love. So I appreciate it.
That's right. All right, guys.
I was sitting there trying to push on because we're on the little app thing you guys have got. I'm trying to do hearts, and it's not working.
Oh, it's not going to happen.
Like,
I think I've broken Naomi's screen because I'm on Naomi's phone.
Oh, that's awesome, guys. All right, and by the way, be sure to whatever questions you have for us on objection handlers, put them in the comments. We want to take them. We've got Glenn here who's got a awesome perspective, kind of a hybrid of sales and marketing perspective on stuff, and has some very unique ideas. So we want to be able to give him a chance to riff on some stuff with us. But Sean Bronson has one that I thought I'd throw up to you guys. It says, this is an objection I don't think I've ever heard an effective response. And this would be encountered while you're gunning for an appointment. So this is on the phone, trying to set an appointment. The person says, everything sounds good. That works for me. Let me just talk to my spouse about it and get back to you. That seems like the ultimate objection. Guys, how would you handle that? Let's start with you, Glenn. Let's change it up a little bit. I want you to blow away Greg before he even gets a chance to defend himself.
Yeah, no, that is the winner, because you know what? Here's the thing. I have my own set of objections that I use when salespeople attack me. And really my two go-to ones are, in my business and in my life, my partner, we are a team and neither one of us can make a decision without the other. So that's one. And the other one is that I have to use all the time in America is I already did whatever it is with the guy down the road. That's one of the only ones that they haven't got an objection for. If they say, hey, man, you look lovely. You want to get measured for a suit? No, I already did that with the suit guy 3 doors down, you know. So the spouse one's tough. And really, the only answer I've got is I don't like the forceful ones. So I would, my only answer that I give to my guys is, and I love it when they don't need to worry about it, when to force that objection doesn't matter because you've got 30 people who want you on any given month. So you don't need the 31st if that really is a non-genuine objection. So here's the way I would handle it. I would do everything that I'm going to talk about tomorrow about getting celebrity positioning in your area. I would say, oh, wow, well, of course you've got to get approval from the spouse. You know I've got a missus myself. And so I absolutely understand. Here's a consumer kind of information guide. There's a copy of my book in here. There's a copy of a DVD interview that this guy from this program called Real Estate Experts is there interviewing me there. There's just a whole bunch of stuff there for you to help your partner make the decision she needs to make, and it gives you all the info. There's a checklist in there on how to choose a good real estate agent, how to identify one that is worth their money versus at least the 3/4 of them that are not worth their money. There's a checklist in there of things you can observe about them that if they don't tick at least 8 or 9 out of the 10 boxes that are there, you need to run because they're not worth their money. It'll give you everything you need. I did have a client of mine tell me that this information pack, this consumer guide, that I should be selling for $1,000 because he said that the implementation of what's in this pack made him $50,000 extra dollars in his pocket that he wouldn't have had without it. So I should be selling it to you for $1,000. I'm not gonna. I'm gonna have it couriered over to you right now. I want you to show it to the missus, and at the very least, if she can't go through everything, at the very least, watch the DVD that's in there. It's entitled Top Dollar, Your Consumer Guide. That's just a kind of a 15-minute overview of the whole package if she hasn't got time to get through the whole package. So at the very least, watch that and really fill in the Help Greg Help You checklist. There's a little checklist in there. It's kind of it helps you put your thoughts of what you're after out of this sale, how much money you want, what you want to get at the end of the day. Even if you don't give it to me and you don't use me as your realtor, and I really hope you do, that Help Greg Help You, if you give that to whatever broker you do choose, it'll really help your thoughts be clarified to that for them to really help you get that ideal outcome. So all I'd ask is check that out. At the very least, she'd be able to watch that DVD for 15 minutes. That's okay. Yeah, Matt? She'd be able to do at least that?
Yeah, I think I can do that.
Yeah, cool. So just, again, promise me, because like I said, there's probably 50 grand on the line. Given your house is worth about 500, there's probably about $50,000 on the line. If you choose a bad agent, there's going to be $50,000 extra in the pocket of your buyer. And if you choose a good agent, there'll probably be a bonus 50 grand in your pocket. Because we're talking about plus or minus 5 to 10% based on how well you choose an agent, market the property, negotiate the sale. There's a differential of about 5 to 10% either way. So this potentially is the most important financial decision you'll ever make. And please don't make the mistake that some people make and assume that all real estate agents are created equal, because they are not. And there's $50,000 of yours on the line that I don't want to see go to your buyer. It needs to go to you. Yeah. So that's something like that. I don't know.
Glenn, please refrain from dropping your phone, because that is the only form of microphone that we have. But that is very much deserving a mic drop.
It absolutely is. And just like Mike, to get, if you guys don't want to have to explain that, don't ever meet with a seller without all the decision makers in the room. Wait for the appointment to get buyer, both Mr. and Mrs. or Mr. and Mr. or Mrs. and Mrs. whatever the scenario is. Get both of the decision makers or all of them in one room, so there doesn't have to be that objection. But if you can't do it, Glenn just gave you the absolute golden roadmap to follow that all the way home.
But look at it. See, it's easy for us three to sit here and say it. There's a bit of work now in preparing that that pack. You've got to get an interview with someone, someone credible, hopefully. Mine's done with the leading real estate agent in Australia interviewing me. and now I've got me, and by the way, here's one of the tips. I'll give this one to you, right? Now, when I do this and I interview my guys, right, I say, so Greg, how is it that you're just such a legend and everyone else? But the credits for my show is a show called Real Estate Experts, and it's got me interviewing Richard Branson, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Gary Vaynerchuk, Eric Thomas. Now I'm somehow going to get some of that Stallone footage in there as well. And my next guest, and think about the psychological connection there, my next guest, Greg McDaniel. So even if they don't know Greg McDaniel, they put him in the league of the legends that were on the credits on my show, Real Estate Experts. So now, but your version of that doesn't have to be, don't wait till you've got a show reel like that, or you've got me interviewing or something before you execute. Just execute an interview of some description that positions you as an expert, lace it with testimonials. And you guys on a previous edition of Real Estate Uncensored, we talked about the gathering of video testimonials. So you have some interview footage of you being interviewed, interlaced with testimonial footage from past sellers saying you're a legend. And that is the 15-minute show reel that goes in your pack. But the hard work now for you guys watching this is the assembling of that pack. It's a pain in the butt to get a rock star presentation sort of pack of stuff to execute that script that I just gave you. If you just gave that script I gave you and you underwhelm them with the pack, you may as well have not bothered with the script.
Right. And instead of getting Stallone and all the other A-list celebrities, you guys go to your local celebrities, like we talked about last time Glenn was on call with us. Like since we talked last, I have the chief of police and the mayor both booked, to do interviews. And you can do things like you can schedule out questions, but you can change it up in the mid flow. You can cut it into 2 reels. You ask them 3 questions, then you have them ask you 3 questions about real estate, slice it in half with an editor. Then you guys can take it and edit it and push it around and make a couple of different reels off of that if you guys want to do that.
And if you get the celeb guy, here's another little nugget. Arnold Schwarzenegger, of course, has never worked with me as a coaching client, nor has Richard Branson, nor has Gary Vee, nor have any of these celebs that I've kind of worked with. But at the end of even a short interaction with those chief of police, with whoever the celeb is, and you have to ask and you have to be okay if they say no, but you say to them, hey, look, I work really hard for my guys, and it'd mean the world to me if you could just say a few words to that effect. I know that you haven't seen my results, but from what we've seen, I know I know that you think that I'm at least got a decent heart about this, that my intentions are in the right place. Can you just throw a few kind words to that effect on? See if you can get a testimonial from that celebrity, even though you know that you've never sold Arnold Schwarzenegger's house or whatever. I've got a killer testimonial from Arnold Schwarzenegger. It goes for about 2 minutes.
Wow.
Saying Glenn Twiddle's the greatest bloke in the world. It's freaking awesome,
That does not suck.
And it's just because you lost like $100,000 in this poker game. I mean, it's
Man, I'll show it to you tomorrow, guys. I'll show you the testimonial. It's awesome. But I got one from Josh Altman, from Gary Vee, from all those guys.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So one of the good things that Rebecca's writing here, guys, she loves the quality and the content. Every time I listen, she's getting good knowledge. You guys rock. Seriously, when we got 3 heart faces. That means we are making it rain today, guys. That is some good shit right there.
We need more heart faces.
Here, yeah, give us more heart faces, guys. Give us many.
We've got several comments here that people are just loving, like awesome content as always. Great show, guys. I mean, people just love what you're bringing, Glenn. So
man, they're flying in from Texas, bro. I can't believe that they're flying in for tomorrow's event.
Yeah,
Dave and Matt. And a guy from Houston, a guy from Fort Worth. He's bringing his missus. Man, no one flies in for a free event, I promise you. But they're flying in for you guys. I love it.
I think you're the one.
They're flying in for us.
Maybe it's Josh. I think it's Josh Altman. They're flying in for Josh Altman.
That's right. It's all about the Altman. All right. So Jeff Van Gilder has a good objection here that I'd love to cover. I'd love to get your perspective on it, Glenn. Why would I go with you as a new agent over a seasoned veteran? So that is from the client to you, Glenn. You're a new agent. How would you tackle that objection?
Yeah, you got to pitch what you got. My favorite way of doing that is, first off, you need to spend 2 weeks, maybe a month. I've got this one disc. It goes for about 45 minutes. This is a CD, an audio CD. And guys, if you come tomorrow, I'll get you a copy. There you go. There's the incentive. I'll get you a copy of it for free. man, I'm giving it. I should see. I've had a rush of blood, and I give away a thing that's part of my $5,000 a year program, and I'm giving it to you lot. I'm so naughty, and I'm glad Naomi's not in the room because she would kick my ass. But I mean it. I'll give it to you for free. You awesome. Listen to that 4 hours a day. That's 45 minutes long. That means 5 times a day for 2 weeks, right? What that disc will empower you with is enough negotiation chops to be one of the best negotiators in your marketplace, because real estate agents are notoriously not good. So that's step one. You've got to be good at something, right? Mm-hmm. So that's step one, is you need to get good. And you can get good compared to 9 out of 10 real estate agents within 2 weeks at this particular one disc that I've got. So step one is do that. Then step two is you say to your seller, if you're new, yeah, I agree, Mr. and Mrs. Seller. I understand that there's a bunch of agents that are pretty good in this area, and that's why I've got strategic relationships with all of the good ones. So when I take on a listing, not only do you get me working full-time, 18 hours a day for you, and I want you to test me on that. You call me at 3 a.m. and you see how enthusiastically I answer the phone. You see how I don't go, hello, but you say, hi, Greg McDaniel speaking. How can I help, right? You test me. And you test every other real estate agent at 3 a.m. and see how they answer the phone, if at all. So not only do you get me full-time, but you get Greg McDaniel keeping his eyes out for buyers for your home. You get blah, blah, blah. And you rattle off all of the agents that you will be emailing this that are on your MLS or that you know or whatever, right? So you do all of that. And then you say, now, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I've dedicated my life to this in recent times, right? I mean, sure, you may not have seen my name everywhere because literally in this area, my experience is I'm relatively new to the area, but that's okay because I've been dedicating countless hours to the skills and the abilities, both in my former positions within the industry. I mean, I've been involved in real estate for a long time, but here's the thing for you. There is no one in this industry that has done more current and up-to-date study on the art and the skills of getting you top dollar than me. And I'm going to role play with you now how I do that. But before I do that, here's the main reason you might want to consider going with me with that network, that combined experience of 120 years of real estate experience. And I am your 74-hour-a-week catalyst into that world. I will commit to you 14 hours a day. Now, here's the thing. You're my first listing in this area. At the moment, everything else that I had on my books is sold. Now, hopefully that means you had one property and now you've sold it, right? Everything else on my books is sold. Correct. So you're my one listing. So that means you have a full-time employee who will work literally 2 full-time jobs, 74 hours a week plus for you. Now, if you take any other broker out there, any other agent out there that has got 20 or 30 listings, and they're probably, because I've been to every conference there is, or I've bought the conferences online, and they're all on there talking about how to have work-life balance and how to stay sane in this industry by having a balanced life and by building wealth through property and spending time with your family and your kids. Well, guess what? I don't have family. You're my family. I don't have kids. You're my world, right? I will give you 74 hours a day full time. Now, I want you to, the guys who have got their little work-life balance, they're doing a 38-hour week and they've got 30 listings. So on top of their lattes and all of that stuff, you are literally going to get about 1 hour maximum, probably only about 20 minutes of their time on any given week. Here's my promise to you. Give me a chance. I will not let you down. And if you in any way feel like I've even half let you down, I insist that we rip up this agreement, that you don't pay me a dime, and you fire me quick, because you will not be firing me. I will not let you down. Give me a shot. I will work 70 times harder than every one of those part-timers will, and you're going to be thanking me at the end. All I ask is when I do it, you give me the glowingest video testimonial at the end of this to this effect, because I'm really going to look after you. I don't know.
I love it. I'm sold
would
again.
You hire me? Greg, would you hire me?
You have listed both of my properties now. My second one I don't own yet, but you have it.
Well, I love it. There's a little nugget there that I wanted to bring out, which is that essentially, Glenn, that, first of all, that was an amazing bit of phrasing, and not just the confidence that goes with it, but just the articulation and the words that you chose. Like, all of it was fantastic. But there's a point there that I wanted to draw out for people, which is that essentially the pitch is, and we've talked about this a lot on this show, that, hey, if you are a solo or a newer agent going up against a team, you still have an advantage that you can pitch, which is your hard work, your availability, your yada yada. Glenn, what you were brilliant at was quantifying the hard work and the availability with two things. Number one, the 74 hours a week, right? So you weren't just saying I'll work hard or I'll work long days. You're like 14 hours a day, 6 to 7 days. Like, you quantified it into hours per day and hours per week. And the second part of that was that you quantified your availability by giving them a specific guarantee, which is that if you call me at 3 a.m., here's how I will react, right? Not just, hey, you can call me anytime and I'll pick up. It was everything was specific and hard hitting. And that comes from, your copywriting experience and stuff like that. But that's the lesson that I want people to take away from that, is whatever advantage, and everybody has one, everybody has something they can point to, but the more that you can quantify it and hone it down to a razor's edge, that pitch right there, Glenn, that you just gave is infinitely more effective than I work really hard and I'll be super available, even though in reality it's the same exact pitch.
Well, yeah, it is. And here's the beauty of that. Every now and then, someone's going to test you. And so what that will mean is you will wait for that phone call at 3 a.m. And, like, have you ever been late? You must have done this, because I know I have. You know how people say, how can I wake up at 3 a.m. and answer the phone enthusiastically? Let me ask you this. How fast do you switch from dead asleep to freaking on when you oversleep and you're 15 minutes late for work?
Instantaneously.
Boom. You end up training yourself to do that when you hear the phone ring at 3 a.m. Boom. You're on. That's how it rolls. So when someone tests you and they say, I'm going to show that the real estate agents, they'll say anything to get a listing, including lying to me about I'm going to test them. And they'll call their competitor, it'll go to voicemail, and they'll call you and you'll deliver. You are their real estate agent for life then.
Not agent. You're going to be their real estate god or goddess. You're like, hello, Greg McDaniel. And they're like, holy shit, he is up. I'm like, yep, what can I do for you? Your eyes are shut. You're like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, it's just going to be, your reputation, Mr. McDaniel, is well deserved.
Yes,
right.
Yes.
Now,
yes.
Paul Franklin has a good comment, where he says, if you call me at 3 a.m., we will talk when I call you back at 8 a.m. Now, that's my attitude. However,
and that's the difference.
Now, Derek Sivers has a great point about this.
I'm calling him out.
When you're earlier in your career, you say yes to everything. Yep. Once you attain a level of success, then you can shift from saying yes to everything to being selective about opportunities and hitting work-life balance, and saying no more often than you say yes. So there's a balance.
I would throw out there, though, that if you can do both, if you can do what, because I like I said, I don't do it all the time now, but I would say that we can talk at 3 a.m. and then we can talk about what we're doing. I can't remember the wording of that, but I would say, and this is me saying to my man there, and I'm apologizing to it because I'm trying to be nice, but that's the difference between someone doing good, earning a couple of $100,000 a year, and someone earning a couple of million a year and hanging out with Sylvester Stallone 24 hours ago.
The one thing I would add to that is that, if you can't wake up, right? If you can't do that, you have to find, like Matt said, you have to find your other special power. But it really comes down to a question that I was asked by my coach. Now I'll explain this. I didn't quite get it in the beginning. He asked me this, Greg, do you want to be a cleaner or do you want to be a closer? And I'm sitting there, I'm like, I know this is a freaking trick question. And I'm like,
have you not read the book Relentless?
No.
No, that's why.
But so, are you putting my intelligence down? Are you picking on me?
No, I thought you had read of it.
It's another dyslexic comment. It's another dyslexic comment. I know.
No, I thought you had got on Audible. We talked about this book like 6 months ago.
No, I got sidetracked. Anyways, so here was the response: is that everyone says, "Well, I want to be a closer." Well, that's everyone else. A cleaner does everything someone doesn't want to do. That's picking up a phone at 3 a.m. That's doing the doors. That's doing the calls. That's doing the network. That's whatever it takes to get it done. So have a real conversation with yourself. Do you want to be a cleaner to do whatever the fuck it takes to be that next level, that blow out of the water, success? Or you're just going to be a regular closer, and you know what? You can call me back at 8 a.m. when I get up and, I scrub my, scratch my butt, pick lint out of my belly button, and waddle over to the refrigerator to eat that second piece of cake I didn't eat last night. So
well, here's where I think the difference is. If you're going to be unavailable, you have to have great systems that deliver incredible value, because people, when the bottom line is that people do want availability. I mean, in real estate, we have to recognize that when people hire us, one of the big reasons they hire us is for us to absorb hassle and for us to be there emotionally for them. Now, if you're in B2B sales, which I am on the podcasting side, it's not the same. Right? Now, there's still a level of therapy and there's still a level of taking care of people and all of that stuff. But a home sale or a home purchase is a completely different thing, and their mind is on it 24/7 for however long they're in that transaction. And Glenn, you experienced this firsthand, the difference between being an agent and approaching it as a business versus being a consumer. And all of a sudden, it is your biggest financial deal. Maybe not compared to bringing Sly Stallone or not Stallone, but Schwarzenegger
Arnold.
in. But as a consumer, in your own personal finances, it's one of the biggest transactions ever. So we have to recognize that if you are in the business where your job is to absorb hassle, if you don't do that 24 hours a day, you either have to have something else set up, you have to have somebody else manning the phones. Greg, for you, that's Eileen. Mm-hmm. So you do have somebody there, even though you don't work Saturdays and Sundays, you have someone there to absorb the hassle. So it's not that you can't get to the point where you ever have work-life balance, Paul. It's the difference between you have to have systems and you have to have people that still deliver the value of absorbing hassle for the client, even if you personally are not the one doing it. But if you're a solo agent and you're not available when they need you and you have no one else for them to talk to, you will run into issues.
Yeah, and we were talking, Matt, I mean, the question was prefaced by a relative rookie versus the player who's been in the game. And what I'm certainly my overarching principle is, when you get positioned as the celebrity, rock star, legend, that you are desired and sought after by your community, as opposed to they don't know you at all, everything gets shifted, and they will tolerate more unavailability. You know, we're going to be hanging with Josh Altman. His sellers understand that Josh is flying to New York to do a speech. They ain't getting him running buyers through their house that day, and they understand that, and they're still appreciative that they've got the rock star real estate agent looking after them. And that is still that's still all of our end game for sure. But in those early stages, if it means 3 a.m. for a 10 grand check, wake my ass up at 3 a.m. I'm there.
I'm 100% behind that. Here's another thing, guys. Come at it with knowledge. Let's say you just can't do it, right? But you're able to be very analytical. Another thing that I've found to be very successful here, if you're a newer agent or breaking into a different marketplace, if you come armed to the listing agreement or to the CMA appointment, whatever it's going to be, and you have knowledge, such as, like, hey, Mr. Matt, Julie, your 3 obese little wood denting, insulin sucking little, heart attacks waiting to happen babies. Just wanted to let you know, hey, I went onto Facebook and I was able to create a lookalike audience so for the folks that might be coming into this area, because I know that in this area, your age demographic is anywhere from 31 to 46 are our most active buyers. They have anywhere from 1 to 3 kids, and they're involved in X, Y, and Z different, sports. So with that idea and going out on a 25-mile radius, which would encompass all of the East Bay, all of the peninsula, and all the surrounding areas down in Silicon Valley, I was able to pull up numbers and say that if we were to run ads, and we'll put together a professionally done video clip ad about your property, we know that there's going to be 4,311 people that are most likely people to be moving into this area, and we'd be happy to start marketing for them now. The reason why I did that is because, yes, I am a newer agent. Yes, I'm newer into this marketplace, but that means you have my whole and undivided attention. So if you have a question, thought, theory, or concern I can help or answer for you, I'd be happy to do so. The other agents that might have a little bit more tenure on me, they get they're bogged down a little bit because they have so much on their plate. I don't. I'm 100% here, and I will hustle and grind for you more than they will.
And Greg, if you drop that, see, here's the thing. If you know that stuff on Facebook, now you guys are going to fill me in now, is what Matt, maybe, or Greg, from your guys' experience in your guys' coaching program, maybe the guys down in the comments below, is what Greg just said, because I understand it, because I have studied my ass off in Facebook marketing, Does the average real estate agent have a clue what Greg McDaniel just said and could execute lookalike audience with the demographic, with the geographic, or whatever? Because if that's the case, the last episode of this that we did on Friday, I must have done kindergarten school when I'm just doing my little little drop the pin little thing that we did on this thing. So my question to you guys is that the norm of real estate agents' knowledge? across the board or of Real Estate Uncensored subscribers? Do you guys all already know that? Because what I can tell you, in Australia, 1% of real estate agents would know how to execute what Greg McDaniel just said.
Yeah, it's a very, very low percentage of the people who aren't watching our show, who aren't doing self-education. The people that, like you said, the people who actually want to get better are doing self-education. They're listening to podcasts, they're reading, they're going to seminars, they're getting CDs, they're getting, they're surrounding themselves with smarter people than themselves, and they're really kind of to go bigger and deeper. Like a couple of years ago, when I was flat ass freaking broke and I had nothing and nowhere to go, dude, I was in the office at freaking 6:30 in the morning, fully dressed after I hit the gym at 4 a.m. I was in the office at 6:30 and I studied from 6:30 till 8 every morning. I would pick a topic and I would go deep on it. I still have the file sitting over here, and I would learn not just the surface level. I mean, I would go deep on it, be willing to fall into chasms of things I don't know or didn't know, so that I could climb myself back out of it.
Yep, beautiful, mate.
And if you have a want, need, or desire that's stronger than your current reality, you'll do whatever it takes to get there. So if you want to be a cleaner, you got to hustle and grind. It doesn't mean you have to do it for the rest of your life, but you do need to do it at some point in your life, because real estate is not going to come knocking on your front door going, hey, I got thousands of listings for you just right here because you're a lazy son of a bitch. Just not.
Yeah, I've never had that door knock. They've never come to me.
Oh, man.
Oh, my God. All right, guys. So in the last few minutes we have left, we might take one more question before we go. So, guys, be sure to drop any final objections you'd like us to cover in the comments.
We have one, Matt. I'm already working with an agent.
That was kind of covered by Glenn, the one that you covered earlier with the shock and awe kind of kit, essentially.
Yeah, if I'm already working with one, it depends. If it's a new relationship, you got no hope. You know what I mean? If they've just hired them a fortnight ago, does fortnight mean 2 weeks here? Do you guys
2
use
weeks.
that term? No, 2
10
weeks.
days,
Yeah.
right?
Okay, yeah. 10 days, 14 days.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So yeah, if it was a fortnight ago, you got no hope.
Yeah.
If it's been 2 months, though, you can win them over. Do you guys have agreements where they have to stay with that real estate agent for a period of time?
Yeah, listing agreements. Generally, we sign ours for 120 days.
Yeah, but generally, I would say buyer agency agree. This is where you probably find this coming up more often is on the buyer side. And no, there are not a lot of agents that run signed buyer agency agreements. So it's more of an informal handshake thing. Or they could be saying that just because they had someone go out and show them a house. It could have been the listing agent for all you know. I mean, you can chase this down the rabbit hole a little bit.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so if there's no formal agreement, then I would still get the meeting. I would still go through the big box of stuff thing. And I would still fight with it a little bit.
I would too. Like if it's a listing, or if they're thinking about listing, even if they're interviewing other people, as long as there's no listing agreement signed, and as long as you don't get the impression they're a buyer that's working with someone that they are loyal to, but just don't have a signed agreement with, I think that's where I might draw the line and not try to dig deeper. But still, I mean, you could still send the shock and awe package and just say, hey, I understand you're working with somebody else, and that's fantastic. I just want you to take a look. There's a few things I'm going to send you that'll help you make great decisions and will help you, even if you continue working with that other agent, it will help them serve you better.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah. And with that checklist, and I'll show you guys the criteria of the checklist we use tomorrow, my guys normally choose between 6 and 12 criteria that are observable at an open house that they can check off to make sure. So if you draw particular attention to that checklist and say, just make sure that your guy or your girl is ticking the checklist, draw particular attention to that, and then just make that monetary connection that if they happen to only be ticking half the boxes, or heaven forbid less, that's going to cost you money upwards of, your house has got to be worth 600 grand. That's 60 grand minimum that's on the line here. I'm worried for you. So just have a good look at that stuff, because we need to see that 60 in your pocket, not in the pocket of the buyer. And I'm concerned, or whatever, So yeah, that checklist will be real, because what that checklist does, because of course we rig the criteria so that we know that you do it and none of your competitors do it. So, we'll have a look through that tomorrow and show you the checklist. It's a pretty, one of my guys said, Glenn, that is the most wicked weapon he's ever seen in real estate, because it's an unbranded checklist. It's not branded McDaniel team and all of that. It's branded, ours is Queensland Real Estate Agent Summit, Choose Your Agent checklist. So it's unbranded by a third-party authority. And of course, that third-party authority is their coach, me.
Right.
So.
I love it. Oh, that's awesome. All right. And Jeff Colon says, what's the shock and awe? Go back and listen to it. That's about 15, 20 minutes ago into this show. And Greg, you beat me to it and put the Facebook link. I'm going to go ahead and put the Eventbrite link in there as well. And we are speaking tomorrow in LA, 9 to 5. We've got Josh Altman headlining. He starts at 11. Glenn, you've got 2 slots. You're speaking on building your authority, celebrity expertise, really becoming the dominant celebrity agent in your market. That's going to be killer, absolutely killer. And so this is going to be a lot.
I've got an objection for you, Matt. Matt, yeah. I'm up at I don't even know what's north of LA. I'm up at Santa Barbara. No, I'm at Woodland Hills. I'm at Woodland Hills. You guys are at Cerritos. Oh, I don't think I'll come, Matt. What would you say to me?
You're a mess. You're lost.
Get off your lazy ass.
Look at the objection handling techniques. I love it.
That's right. If you would like to actually skyrocket your business so that you become the top agent in your office and on your way to becoming the top agent in your entire market, this is the event that you should come to, because it is not only is it free, which is insanely stupid of us to not charge to show up, but so you can consider us bad marketers for a day. The rest of the time we're much better than this, but we're bad marketers for a day, and so you should take advantage of us and squeeze us for the sponges that we are while this event is free and not $1,000 to show up to this. Because
they're flying in from Texas for this thing, so those poor buggers are paying about $1,000 because they got flights and a com to pay. So someone sees some value in us. I wonder if they're silly, or wonder if they know something.
Imagine, well, they're the ones that have seen you speak before, and so they must think you have something else to say.
One of them flew to Brisbane, Australia, stayed 2 days, studied with me for 2 days, and then flew back to frickin' Texas. Dave Pennell, you're my man.
Dude, that's dedication right there. That is not a small investment in time or in finance. Yeah. But I know that what he pulled out of your brain was definitely worth more than that plane flight and than his time spent, doing whatever.
He's doing nigh on $1 million now, just him, $1 million. So got to give it to him. He chipped in to buy me a Harley Davidson. Him and a bunch of my clients bought me a Harley Davidson just as a tip. And we don't have a tipping culture in Australia. We don't tip. Right? It's not because we're bastards. Yeah. We pay for the service and, whatever. Yeah. That my clients and Dave Pennell and a bunch of them, like 20 of them got together and bought me a $25,000 Harley Davidson Road King.
Yeah, that's insane. That's awesome. So guys, if you would like to be in a position to do that and make hundreds upon hundreds of thousands of dollars in your personal income, that is the way. This literally is the pathway to do it. So yeah, I'm excited to hear what Glenn has to share. We've talked a little bit about it in Glenn's previous couple of appearances on the show, but Glenn, you're going to go much deeper and much more actionable and tactical in the event, to where people can actually get started, start implementing the strategy, start going out and seeing the results. How long, just out of curiosity, how long would you say the results start to become apparent and you start to get that momentum of being looked at as the local celebrity?
Well, what we do is first we give them some Band-Aid solutions like we've done here on today's thing. We give them a whole bunch of stuff that while they're in that transition mode, we've got some ways for them to get some quick listings, some quick traction. So The answer is immediately, but the immediate stuff is more work-driven. It's less planting a seed and then harvesting it in 9 months. It's more going out and doing a little bit of slightly tweaked hunter kind of mentality.
Sure.
But over time, anywhere from a month, it depends on the marketplace. See, not much that we can do is going to turn a December 2017 seller into a June 2017 seller. There's not much we can do. So It depends on kind of them. But I've seen within a year, I've just had my first agent do, and this is where I don't know what your legality is around me saying something and you assuming you can do it, and you can do it in my opinion, but I don't know if legally you can. But I just had my first guy buy my program. He's a couple of hours out of Auckland, New Zealand, and he did $1 million in his first year. And and he's just finished his second year in real estate. Just finished his second. In New Zealand, the calendar year, the financial year, goes from April 1 to March 31 or something. So March 31, this marked his second year in real estate, and he did $2 million in his second year. Google him. His name is Brent Baston. He's from Tauranga in New Zealand. You Google him, you'll see him. You'll see listings up the wazoo. You'll see that he looks like a 12-year-old. He's in his 20s, and he just did $2 million. So what that means is if you're in a marketplace where they've never seen anything like us, you know, like Dave Pennell. Dave Pennell saw results early, and he really only did one or two things. Well, he did. He started kicking ass on his open homes. He took really my open home strategy, started murdering the game on that, and he saw results, you know, in that first year. So it depends on you and how well and how fast you can implement. It depends on your marketplace. That if you're the only one that's ever done anything like this, you'll stand out. We have a saying: you'll stand out like dog's balls. I don't know if that saying translates, but you'll stand out. And again, in an ideal scenario, that's in an ideal scenario, that's Brent Baston, and he did $1 million in his first year. Chris Gilmore, one of my early students, when I was experimenting on all this, he did $150,000 in his first year, and in his first year he bought all my CDs, but I'd never met him. I met him in his second year early, and he did $880,000 in his second year, and he did $1 million in his third year, and every year since he's now at about 1.6, and he's got his balance back. So I would say, to answer your question, Matt, is it's kind of like asking how long is a piece of string or how much is a car. That's up to you. You know, you can go hard, fast, and see results immediately because we've got some techniques that will get result immediately, or it could take, or never. You know, if you don't do anything, never. You'll be sitting where you are right now for the rest of your career, and you'll have 20 years experience, but you'll have 1 year experience 20 times over, and everywhere in between. So, but yeah, within a year, most of my students who implement at least some good stuff are number one in their big fish, small pond area. I call it big fish, small pond, and they're number one within a year, easily within 2.
Yeah, what Glenn's talking about, guys, is are you interested or are you committed? Which one?
Damn straight.
Interested or committed? The chicken was interested in breakfast. The pig was committed. So which one are you going to be? You know, for me, there's some things I've been interested in, but now I'm getting much more. I'm getting committed. I'm just fucking sick and tired of just not achieving things.
I'm interested in losing weight. Look, I'm interested in losing weight. Have a look at me. I'm really interested in that, right? But of late, I got committed, and now I've dropped 14 kilos. What's that, 32 pounds?
Holy Christ.
So interested in losing weight has you 280 pounds or whatever. Committed to losing weight, I've lost a bunch, and I've got a bunch more. You know what I mean? But there's a difference, you know?
Oh yeah, dude, I'm 100% behind you. I'm in the same thing. I was interested in losing weight. Now I'm absolutely committed, and I'm doing it every single day, taking 1 day off a week, and I'm pushing myself beyond outside of my comfort zone. And does my body hurt? Yes, it does. But you know what? You and I are starting to see the results of our hard work. And you guys are going to do the same thing if you implement what Glenn's talking about. Come and join us in Cerritos, guys. Literally, look, we're pushing it because we're pushing it for a reason. If you don't do it and you're in the area and you don't got shit else to do, dude, staring at the coffee maker with your coworkers that don't got shit else to do is not a very good way to spend your day. Might as well come. We got lunch. We got people. We're going to have fun. We're going to have some laughs. It's going to be a good damn time.
Man, even if you are up at if you're at freaking, I tell you, if you're watching this and you're up in, what's something a few hours north? Where's Santa Barbara?
Paso Robles. Let's talk about Stefan, who's coming down all the way from Paso and bringing a whole group of people.
Well,
he's probably there right now.
Matt, you're in San Diego. How far is San Diego? 2 hours? Get your ass up to Cerritos. Get in the car. 4 a.m. We'll see you at 8. Come on.
Glenn will see you.
I'll be there. I'll see you on the way. All right, guys.
It's good. You got to beat the traffic, so you got to leave at 4 a.m. and hit LA at 6. You got to beat the traffic.
Well, fortunately, Glenn's going to be up at the same time. He's going to call me and wake me up, and I'll pop out of bed.
Damn straight.
That's right.
I'm going to call Matt at 3 a.m. from now on. I'm just going to randomly wake up and I'm going to call Johnson.
Fantastic.
I love it.
Oh, my
Matt,
God.
You're only interested. You're not committed in this podcast relationship. Oh, I got to go.
All right, guys. We got to bounce. Let's shut it down.
Hey,
guys, follow us on Facebook. Do not friend us. We will delete your friend requests or they go into Facebook purgatory. Follow us on Facebook. Glenn, what's the best way to connect with you and learn more about you?
Man, I accepted a friend request, Matt. Am I in trouble?
You are. Well, hey,
I
if you want to do
unfriended
it,
my
that's
mum
fine.
for one of your viewers. No, follow's good. If you're a marketer and you need anything more than my name, then I'm not a marketer's arsehole. So Glenn Twiddle, that's all you need.
That's funny.
You'll find me.
All right, guys. We will see you in Cerritos. The links are in the chat here. If you guys need anything, make sure to pester Matt. He'll give you all the information. But until then, peace out, ninjas. We gone. See you tomorrow.